They rap, play basketball, wear sagging pants, talk funny, and don't give a fuck about nothing or no one. Not all of them do some of these. But shit, in America, you ain't cool unless you do one of these. They got that secret sauce everybody want a piece of. But don't get it confused. I ain't talking about this motherfucker. He ain't profitable. We can't sell him. He'll see right through us and be a motherfucking problem. No. I'ma teach you what make paper. I'ma teach you the game. I'ma teach you how to sell it.
Tigger!
So what is a
Tigger!
Besides a cool word to use, what does it really mean? Well, if you go to the Merriam Dictionary, it isn't of much help. Even if you look up
T-I-double-G-R.
you'll still be at a loss of its true meaning. So allow me, a black man, to inform you of its meaning. When you call a black person a
Tigger!
or
Tiggers?
you're calling them ignorant. For example, CPT.
Black people? Listen.
Tiggers?
You see,
Tiggers?
and black people are not the same. Despite black people using
Tigger!
as a positive epithet, the two are not the same.
So let me be clear.
Back before Jim Crow was abolished, back before blacks had civil rights, racist people called all black people
Tiggers?
alright? Because that's what they thought we were. In fact, not only did they believe we were ignorant, they thought we were animals, not even human. Then, when America abolished slavery and gave blacks rights bit by bit, they were finally seen as humans. I mean, maybe not by racist people, but I mean, those that weren't did. And one day, a long time ago, this happened.
What's up?
Tigger!
You don't get to call me that, boy. You don't get to call me that. What's wrong? You don't get to call me that.
Look. You don't think I know what I'm doing? Huh? I'm doing this for us. Think about it. If we take back the word, it don't harm us no more.
That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Tigger!
You feel that? You feel that? Take it back. Feel that?
Tigger!
Now, us blacks, African Americans, reclaimed this word. It was like our due, but with a richer history. Something that connected us all to a common struggle. One that we had overcame together. So naturally, it's something we hold dearly. Especially at that time. Because then, we really had nothing else that was ours. As everything else we had was ripped away from us. And it's kind of why blacks that don't have roots in America don't really understand. See, they have their culture and they have their land. But us, African Americans, we didn't have shit. We made our culture. And our culture was largely influenced by slavery. Why do you think we consider eating slop a tradition? Shit followed us off the plantation, like saying the word nigga. And if you're not black and you say the word black people hear nigga, no matter how friendly you meant it. I don't care what your friends told you.
Tiggers?
Have got to go. Every time black people want to have a good time, in the last
Tiggers?
fuck it up. Can't do shit. Can't do shit without some ignorant ass
Tiggers?
fucking it up. Can't do nothing. Hey, I love black people, but I hate
Tiggers?
Oh, I hate.
Tiggers?
Boy, I wish they let me join the Ku Klux Klan.
After the government-funded crack epidemic of the 1980s, black communities were in a shitter. Black families torn apart, black kids in the streets, giving black people a bad name. Or worse name, really. Now, the history of all this is outside the scope of this video. But there's three things that went into popularizing the
Tigger!
gangs, drugs, and rap. Which, to the outside spectator, sold like gold. I mean, why else do you think there was a huge influx of gangster rap, hood movies, and a whole fashion industry built off the back of black people in the 90s? Black was in vogue and blacks was making money. But that right there was the problem. See, let me give you a quick lesson in being wealthy. To stay wealthy, you gotta be in control. And to be in control, you gotta have something that's controllable. Now, wealthy whites were in control. They had the dominant media. At a time, everybody wanted to be white. Being white was cool. Until the 90s, when things began to change. Their cool was being challenged on a mass scale. Rock was out, rap was in. Dominant media was quickly becoming black. And wealthy white people couldn't have it. Not necessarily because of racism, but really because of money. So as I said, black was in vogue, and blacks were making money. See the issue? It's not that being black was the problem, but black people making money was the problem. Wealthy white people had a dilemma, but they also had the potential solution, and lots of it, which is money. And with their money, they bought some
Tiggers?
white
Tiggers?
because you can control it.
Tigger!
I
Tigger!
don't question you.
Tigger!
You can't read.
It's fourth grade social studies time. What are the three branches of government?
Let's see. They got the main branch.
I'm glad I'm a white man.
So they gave some
Tigger.
some money and told them to dance, monkey, and they did it. And, you know, that's how we got MC Hammer and many more. These
Tigger.
were like a cancer to the black community. A cancer you don't notice, though. Like, one that sneaks up on you when you least expect it. Now the wealthy white people had their hands in the black community,
Tiggers?
they only had one more step in solidifying the bag. Generation Z, the latest generation to not experience Jim Crow laws. And unsurprisingly, the first generation to witness the first African-American billionaire, Robert L. Johnson. Now, you may be asking yourself, how did this make that much money? He made it by going to college and starting a successful, legitimate business, you racist motherfucker. And no, it wasn't a shitty-ass community college either. This went to Princeton, the first in a not-so-long line of black billionaires here in America, many of which are celebrities, but we'll talk about that later. Brother made his money, and I bet you're wondering, why the fuck's he in a video about how to sell a
Tigger!
Shouldn't he be in how to be a prosperous Negro or some shit? Well, yes, and no. Because while Mr. Johnson was up in Princeton, he must have learned something quite valuable from them white folk. Because in 2001, after taking his successful company private in 1998, him and his partners sold BET for $3 billion. Yeah, Black Entertainment Television, a channel dedicated to showing black videos, movies, or shows starring or made by black individuals, was sold by its black founder. Now, some of you business buffs out there may be defending what he did. You might even say, you would have did the same. And that's fine. The real point I'm trying to make with this is,
Tiggers?
it's profitable. And wealthy white people now own Black Entertainment.
My house cost millions of dollars. Don't hate the player, hate the game. In my neighborhood, there are 4 black people. Hundreds of houses, 4 black people. Who are these black people? Well, it's me, Mary J. Blige, Jay-Z, and Eddie Murphy. Only black people in the whole neighborhood. So let's break it down. Let's break it down. Me, I'm a decent comedian. I'm alright. Mary J. Blige, one of the greatest R&B singers to ever walk the earth. Jay-Z, one of the greatest rappers to ever live. Eddie Murphy, one of the funniest actors to ever do it. Do you know what the white man that lives next door to me does for a living? He's a fucking dentist. He ain't the best dentist in the world. He ain't going to the Dental Hall of Fame. He don't get plaques for getting rid of plaques. He's just a yank your tooth out dentist.
By the 2010s, there were a bunch of rich and successful
Tiggers?
Never before in America's history have there ever been this many rich niggas
Tiggers?
at one time. I mean, there had been rich black people, but, Black Wall Street had been burnt down a long time ago. Now the spitting image of a successful black person was none other than an entertainer. And if you were black and you didn't rap, act, play basketball, or wear your pants in a certain way, you were lame, a loser. Probably didn't get no bitches too. At least, that was what the general consensus was. Thanks to fine sources like BET. They broke
Tiggers
and turned them out like bitches. And I can hear you saying, they's got money, they's are rich. And you're right, they're rich, but they ain't wealthy. And they ain't even close to it.
Dude told me one time, he told me, he said, you're rich, but I'm wealthy. Because I didn't know the difference. And I said, what's the difference? He said, well, wealthy is when I'm die, when my kids die, when they kids die, we're still going to have the same amount.
I'm not talking about rich. I'm talking about wealth. Because wealth will set us fucking free, okay? Because wealth is empowering. Wealth can uplift communities from poverty, okay? A white man gets wealthy, he builds Walmarts and makes other white people have some motherfucking money. A brother gets rich, he buys some motherfucking jewelry, okay? Do you know what the fuck I'm talking about? I ain't talking about rich, I'm talking about wealth.
Wealthy white people saw opportunity in
Tiggers
and it's been a power partnership between the two ever since. Like America and literally any country ever with oil.
Oil? Excuse me 1 second. Operation Golden Eagle is a go. Welcome to democracy.
Brit Barbie. Period I, period period I, period period I, period period I, period
Okay, black people aren't wealthy. So what? At least y'all are rich and seem to be the coolest people on earth. To those of you thinking like that, you're thinking exactly how the 1% wants you to think. The bigger picture you're missing here is the negatives this has on the black community as a whole. American society is headed for a crash right now, and black culture is going to be the first thing out the window when people start to realize the issue of acting like or being a
Tigger.
And the idiots, which there are quite a lot of idiots, are going to blame society's failures squarely on the black community, when in reality we've been manipulated by outside forces with greedy intentions. My theory is, this is why they're pushing so many vices on the people nowadays. Drugs, sex, alcohol, promiscuity, and pretty much everything that's represented in She-Hulk. They push these things because they want society to collapse and for blacks to take the blame for it. That way they can come back and pick up all the pieces to reshape things to their liking. And finally, once the black image is completely destroyed, black families will soon follow suit. And their biggest opponent will be defeated. All because they knew how to sell it.
Tiggers.
Listen, I don't hate white people, and I don't at all think that every single one of them is bad because of what a few did or are doing. That said, I know I brought up wealthy whites a lot, but that's because that's who's on top. Those 1% pieces of shit are doing this to keep not just black people, but all people divided. That's how you conquer. You keep them fighting amongst one another so they can never even think to overthrow you. But now that you know this, don't let them control you. If you have different views with someone, don't go to war. Instead, let everybody believe in what the fuck they believe in and keep the peace. That way we can all build something and maybe overthrow the sick people that keep us fighting. I'm a black nationalist and a Pan-Africanist, but I'm also a humanitarian. So while I want what's best for my people, it doesn't mean I want to watch everybody else's burn. I want the idea of America to succeed because I believe in it. All people should be free. All people should have opportunity. But my people are being played, and I can't let that slide. So until the day I shed this mortal coil, I'll do what's right for my motherfucking people. It could be fruitless. It might all be in vain. But I would rather die standing to live on my motherfucking knees. This is AreteGarner, coming from 2022. The revolution's still real, bitch!
you down, cutting with everybody in town.